I didn't really get to do a breaky. I just was on a phone call, and then I remembered one of the people that I work with. Actually, one of the people that still thinks, even though the delegates have already voted, I worked with them yesterday, still thinks Trump's going to win, which I think is hilarious. They actually have a child who is 15, 16, who's actually getting into Dungeons and Dragons. And I was like, he's like, what do I need for that? What do I do for this? And I was like, actually, I think I have a mint condition spare PHB that I could just give you. And I'm going to grab some dice and I'll just give this to you because you've probably already done Christmas shopping. So I'll give you stuff. Just give it to your kid as like an extra Christmas gift. He's like, no, I don't want to. I was like, trust me, I've got so much stuff. Don't even worry about it. It's all good. So I have a mint condition, like barely ever opened PHB. So I'm like, oh, cool. That's that with some dice, and he'll actually be able to, have his kid become more of a nerd. So, which is nice. I like nerds.
Nice. You spreading the love.
Yeah, you can't blame a child for their parent. You can blame a parent for their child, though. You can do that. Mm-hmm. Just kidding. Where were we? Where did we leave off?
We pan back to Ilen impaled on a spear with spy written on him.
Wow. Is blood and water coming out of the spear wound?
The fact that like Scott but the fact that like Scott just like stopped entirely for a bit.
I got
guess
an angry. So like I described beforehand, the person we're all picking up extra to help out, and this is the response. So I was just like texting the other person because they didn't have each other's number or whatever. It's like, oh hey, this is what happened, so on and so forth. This is the response. But if he said he was going to take extra hours, no matter what, he needs to be on time. This is ridiculous. And it just keeps going on, unacceptable. It just keeps going on with all this.
But these things happen.
Yeah. I understand. We're all human. We all make mistakes.
Exactly.
This is the one that said the only way to properly secure the border is to shoot all children with AK-47s because that will stop them from bringing the kids over the border. So I'm like, the fact that you're being angry is just because you're a terrible person. So yeah. I'm like, this is par for the course for a text message for somebody being an hour late to work once ever. You're like, okay.
So I was once like 4 hours late, I think. I woke up. I forgot to set my alarm, and after injections, I tend to sleep a bit deeper, etc. And I woke up and I was like, oh, I rang up and I was like, I'm really sorry. I'll be in shortly. I got in and my boss was like, okay, cool. You want to take that on annual leave? And I was like, yes, please. She's like, cool.
Yeah. That's like if it's not a consistent issue, I've never cared. Like life happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
But your kid took a shit for too long and you needed to help wipe it. Cool. Okay. Whatever. You're 15 minutes late. Who cares? It's like the place isn't going to burn down because you're not here. Like it's not the end of the world. We'll all live. So people that take that stuff too serious, it's just like, why?
Yeah. If it's like a consistent issue, it's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like one-off, like you say, everybody is human, and people get this mindset of like it's just intolerable, and you're like, dude, come on.
Yeah. Mind you, those same people will show up to work 5 minutes late themselves with like a coffee in their hands. So they could have been on time, but they chose not to be. So it's like, anyways, moving on. Back to. So
I explained the story of the fact I was looking for a friend, and then I got a message that I should come here to find them.
Yeah, that's right. And she says, what friend are you looking to find? Surely you can't be very comfortable in this place.
No, it's the last time I was here, took a lot out of me.
You said you're good at healing. This place is the antithesis of, literally consumes life. You are life.
I found that my healing spells were very effective at dispatching the creatures that attack me here, yes.
She shakes her head and says, why are you here?
I'm looking for Raerin Corvain. My friend who was taken. Well, you asked who my friend was. I just figured I would give you a name in case it meant anything. But they were taken to the plane of ooze. That was the last I heard of things. I tried to get there, ended up here initially, then made my way, got picked up by the Burning Legion and made my way through to the Earth. The Earth plane. It's been one hell of a journey.
Somebody leans over and whispers something into her ear, and she like looks at them, and they give a slight nod, and she looks back at you and says, "You were originally meant to come here to find a friend of yours, and they were taken to the plane of ooze."
No, they were taken to the plane of ooze initially, and now I've been told to come here.
You're from the material plane. You're from
Yes.
Aurorum.
Yes.
This friend of yours wouldn't happen to be someone who is closely related to what's been going on lately, would he be?
No.
No, not at all.
Can I sense motive about how she said that? Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
It bad.
Your Honor, I swear to tell the whole truth. Is that the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but...
Do you mean with the fighting?
I mean...
With the Burning Legion, well, obviously they were at war.
The Ascension.
Pardon me. Ah.
Time to bluff, Tesh. Bluff your way out of this.
You know what?
What ascension? The slime god?
You know what? I'm gonna try and bluff to not react to her saying the ascension.
Just so you know, you still have a Winifred's, right?
Wouldn't have mattered.
She sits back in her chair and says, "You're one of them, aren't you?"
One of
the people involved in all of this, making everything difficult, disrupting the flow. No, sorry, disrupting the peace. She wouldn't say the flow. Disrupting the peace.
I don't actually know.
I do. Detain this man.
Knew that was coming.
She says, detain this man. We need to make sure that he is brought before those that can get real answers from him. What do you do?
Oh, okay. So I know we're in the plane I need to be in.
Open your jacket.
Oh no, that's the best part is when they actually go to grab me. Some fun stuff's gonna happen. But so do I see any sort of exit to this tram, or it slides open, doesn't it? Do I see any indication of something to press to open it?
No. This is whatever controls this. You have no idea what it is. I'm trying to get together bags of dice for these kids.
Bags of I thought you were getting ready to like roll an entire bag of dice for me. I'm like, please no.
Apparently, my coworker's dad is a software engineer himself, so he also grew up playing Second Edition. So that's fun. So that's they're learning it from Grandpa. So I figure I get together some dice for the kids.
I'm trying to think what I can do to break open the side
like
of this.
Like a good neighbor, Daelric is there.
Sorry. Look for explosives.
Pardon?
Look for explosives.
Wait, you're from Raerin, or however the fuck you want to call it. Do me a favor and roll me a knowledge planes check.
I can do that. I will use Winifred's on this one because you clearly have something involved.
Oh my god, those crystals! They're mole magic. They're all boomable.
Oh, they're the fucking! Oh my god!
Neil got it. Neil got it without me even having to say it.
That's amazing. I didn't. Oh shit! Oh, okay, they're boomable. Perfect. Well, in that case,
He was
I'm
like,
just gonna...
wait, Scott's down to something. What is it? What is it? Scott's a boomer. Scott's a boom. Boom! Booming crystals! Ugh.
Okay,
I
so...
channel Ollie's pain.
So given that roll, if I shoot a scorching ray into one of those, will it explode?
Not a scorching ray. What do these crystals cause you to resonate with them?
Okay.
No, these crystals cause you to resonate with them. You rolled high enough check, I could just tell you. These things are channeling our bounds to the positive energy plane.
So if I chuck a cure serious wounds into it,
That very well may work, sir, man boy, sir.
okay. Well, I'm gonna. Oh, you know what?
I know many things.
I might do this first. I'm thinking if I just want to like quickly do a sanctuary immediately.
Sanctuary!
What do you think, guys? Roll sanctuary and then walk up to the thing and do it, or just jump for it?
They all resonate with positive energy, right? Couldn't you just do
might
it like your Nova thing, and they all just go?
Oh my god! I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh no!
Holy
I'm
shit.
gonna detonate this entire fucking train.
Yeah.
Look.
oh, please, this is gonna be so good.
Look. They pushed me to it. Oh, you know what? You know what? I'm gonna say, look, I don't want to hurt you. Because I could do that instantly, even if they grab me. So
You say, look, I don't want to hurt you. And she goes, I'm not concerned about you.
well, you really should be, considering you have those. I'm gonna look at the crystal.
You tip your hands? Uh-oh.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
my Lord.
it
By
doesn't
the way,
matter.
I got a straight flush. Oh.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter.
You say, you got those? She looks at what you're saying, and she looks over to somebody else across the tram and says, shatter. And then they quickly open their mouth to...
The second she does that, it's going.
Okay? So you do your, like, energy heal, and all of a sudden it's just like, you can see that, the glow that was happening inside there glows brighter and brighter and brighter as it's like... And then
That was a max heal as well, almost.
You infuse them with an incredible amount of like life, kind of like channeling your actual plane straight through them more. And as you get them like super infused, the other person does like the noise like that to cause like the shatter, but it's while they're super infused, which just ends up making it significantly worse. And they just end up exploding everywhere with just for Shinny. God, that hurts to do. It literally hurts to do.
So, to clarify what I'm also going to be doing, the second I've like done the channel energy and they've started to like glow, I'm going to start summon monster for the Diabat.
Gotcha. Okay. So first and foremost, because that's a long ass summon. It takes 6 full seconds nonstop for you to do that. That's gonna that's rather time consuming.
Yep. Well, that's the thing. I'm trying to use the fact that the chaos of the things exploding to get some of the time.
So you make your cast this, you do the thing, the channel, you supercharge them, and then they do the shatter, and it just explodes everywhere. Tell you something funny about work, huh? You're cute. Love you. Short version. One person woke up late, and Linda's the one that they're supposed to be working with, and just like the vitriol.
Scott, we've heard enough about Linda. Ilen's life is in danger. Fuck Linda.
Vitriol.
Linda, listen.
All right. So, anyways, oh, sorry. She said, "My food's happy to see me."
Can you tell it a bit? I can see.
But I don't want it to fall.
I
all over the floor.
I was trying to bait you to do that, but then like I actually thought you were about to tip it, and I just felt so bad.
No, I wouldn't do that. I'm not dumb like you.
Why is your camera so bad, Scott?
Hmm?
Why is your camera so bad? It's all fuzzy.
That's probably just my CPU struggling to send you a quality image.
Why is your CPU
I see it
so
super
bad?
clear. Because Josh needs to come over and play with me. So anyways, you, sir, back to you, Tesh. The explosion happens, and it's just like exploding everywhere. But the thing is, it doesn't just, sorry, it's in the train. It doesn't explode right next to you. It's the entire tram is hit with explosion, and you can see people kind of like freaking out as it's like pops and going off almost like flares happening all throughout the tram that you're currently in, the section that you're currently in, because the walls would of course protect the other areas behind it. As soon as that happens, as soon as you do that, you can see people like freaking out. It definitely gives a moment of pause, but I wouldn't say that it gives you
that's
6
fine,
full
yeah.
clean seconds. So what else would you want to do instead as you're inside the stone wall? Tram
Okay,
is traveling forward.
if it's not going to give me that, I'm gonna do this first. Then I'm gonna do Sanctuary and run towards the biggest hole that was made by. Did any of the crystals blow a hole?
So it's made out of stone. This is made out of crystal. So they definitely would have done little punctures here and there, kind of like you'd imagine like shrapnel going through a spaceship, right?
Yeah.
But not like there's a big massive hole there.
No, but they're like a spot that looks like it's got been weakened the most, sort of thing. Like there's been a couple
Perception.
of punctures or anything like that. Okay.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? It was good, wasn't it, Josh? Because there was
Fucking.
perception checks for you guys are just 2s all night. Josh, that's probably the best Chinese food you've had since you've come up north, right? Because most of the Chinese food up here, like you said, is not the greatest. Anyway, so back to you, sir. You look around, try to find a spot, and honestly, you can't find any area that might be more damaged than the others. It all just looks like stone walls.
Okay. In that case, I still cast Sanctuary. Does it? So there's no indication of control anywhere in the tram that we're in.
Mm-mm.
Well, what's another option? So we can't see out either, can we?
Unfortunately, not really. No, the holes are so small.
Well, I'm gonna hope we're on the ground then. In that case, you know what? I'm gonna with Sanctuary move off to. I'm gonna try and put as much distance between me and Watson, the boss lady. We didn't get a name for her, as possible. It's not going to make much of a difference, but the chaos might give a bit of different distance. And then my next turn is essentially going to be Summon Monster 4.
Okay. Well, again, that's a full 6 seconds of people being able to attack.
That's why I
against you.
That's
and so
why
on
I
and so forth.
put Sanctuary on.
All right, cool.
first.
So as you're gonna like put Sanctuary up, somebody reaches up and tries to grab at you, but as they try to grab at you, they just suddenly decide they don't want to. It's kind of like they reach up and they're like. But as they do so, all of a sudden, you feel a strange feeling. Are you floating? Huh. You're floating. Well, that's nice. Wait a second. Everybody around you is floating too, especially those that had unbuckled themselves.
No.
Yeah, they had unbuckled themselves so they can get up and go detain you. Oh, they're floating.
We're in a fucking free fall is what's going on.
Well, that's nice. That's so nice. See
Can I do a check to figure out what that means?
intelligence?
Okay. Because that's not good. Yeah, that's a good roll.
Yeah, you realize this reminds you of when you've made large jumps before. And you're like, oh, we're not floating, we're falling.
And can I make an assumption that started once they broke the crystals and everything?
That is possible that happened at the same time. You're not entirely sure, but it definitely seems to line up with that. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. With Summon Monster 4, can I change what I'm trying to summon mid-thing?
You see
Oh, I didn't say what I was trying to summon yet, though.
You see a burst of fire come stab through one of the walls. There's obviously, you literally see a line of fire stab through one of the walls, and then quickly carves like a half moon shape. So it's like a stab in, like and then it pulls out, and everybody kind of looks at that like, what the fuck? And then like a quick slash of fire around, finishing off like the half moon shape. So it cuts out like almost like like a half moon shape. And the thing comes falling out. And what you see on the other side of that thing is a familiar looking image. Large, well built, angelic creature with a flaming sword in his hand. As he stands before you with his ebony skin and his serious face, and says, "You're being summoned," and reaches in a hand to help you out.
Well, I will go. I will go with. Just I'm gonna shoot the lady and look like I said I didn't want to hurt you. I'm sorry. then go with.
They grab you and pull you out. And as he grabs you and pulls you out, and a huge flap of the wings, allowing you to elevate up a bit, you can see the entire section of the tram that you were on is falling down and smashes to the grounds down below.
Oh, they're dead as fuck.
As the rest of the tram up ahead is continuing to plug along in two different segments, because that was in the middle of the tram. Clearly, it cut the front portion of the tram, which kept going, and then severed it from the back portion of the tram and smashed it off.
Well, I mean, I tried to not hurt them, and then it's one of those things where I can't blame them, but also it was always going to go down that way.
As you see the smash happening below, and you're just thinking to yourself, like, oh, I've been in a train when it comes to a sudden stop. That looks bad. As you see that happening, he says, "Do not remorse. They've made their decision."
Not all of them. So those ones, yes, but some of the others were forced into combat.
He nods and says, "I left the rest of the train intact."
Oh, that was you. Well, then thank you. And then you chose the right one, then.
I couldn't find you before. Your beacon was too small, but you've returned, and this time you shone brightly.
Shot a flare.
That's a good point. I should have just made myself known the first time I came there rather than trying to hide.
This episode was clearly, shall we say, infused with some of that GIF energy from before. that train, that bus, but worse.
I think it's test GIF. I getcha. So, anyways, you he then says, "You were trying to find your way before. We can see to it that you find your way this time."
Thank you. It's been a long, very difficult journey.
I understand, but your journey is not over.
Okay. I was told I got a message from... It was from one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, from one that I should come here. I don't know what's happened. Did Raerin get free from the plane of ooze?
He shakes his head and says, "I do not know. Where is Grishka?"
I do not know. He sent me it was a spell. I can't remember. It was a message I heard. So he used a spell to communicate with me that I should come here.
Do you have the ability to do such things yourself?
No, unfortunately, I do not.
Do you have the ability to locate your friends?
No, I don't believe I do. No, unfortunately, I don't.
You have no form of communication and no form of tracking them down, and no idea where he was last.
That is correct.
That's going to prove to make things more difficult.
Yes, well, logically thinking, me jumping into this trying to find him given those situations, those those things specifically, probably wasn't my smartest decision, but oh well.
You needed to find your way here. You found your way, and this time you will be guarded.
Well, thank you.
There is many a thing that needs to be understood. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you these things, as I am bound to an oath.
I understand. Well, let's get going then.
Drops.
Actually, he's already going.
Ends up flying down to an area far from where the crash happened, but away from where you are, to finally place you on the ground. Oh, you've been here before. This place seems familiar. It's drab, it's dark, it's dreary.
Yep.
He holds his flaming sword over his head. His arm is tireless, of course. So he holds his flaming sword over his head and says, "As long as you're within the circumference of my light, nothing shall harm you. These creatures here know who and what I am."
Perfect. Thank you.
He nods, says, "You realize this place is the antithesis of life. You are life."
I do. It was unpleasant last time.
I imagine so. Let's travel, see what we can discover. Jake, you hit that puddle. And you kind of drop through it one more time in like a bubble, like you were beforehand, almost like you're inside instead of an air bubble inside of a liquid. This time you're inside like an inky, thick, viscous liquid bubble inside free falling air. What do you do as you finally plop into a plane of just darkness?
Well, I'll try and get some type of bearings if I can.
Yeah. Sorry, I meant what's his name? Yogi comes up to you and just like takes 3 of them off of his fingers and hands them to you.
Oh, of course. Wait. So describe what I'm seeing again. I'm not. Did you say I'm in another bubble?
In like an inky bubble, as you kind of like splashed into a thick, viscous, inky liquid, and it kind of like you're dropping through effectively darkness inside of like an inky, viscous bubble of liquid.
Well, be like, is Phaedral there?
Looking about the bubble is difficult to do, but you see that Phaedral is with you, as is the Seth. Leroy.
I'd say to him, where now?
We're there.
I need to speak with the Arbiter. Do you know the way there?
No.
Can you see where we are? I can't see anything.
Welcome.
Well, we should probably try and get out of this bubble, I guess.
Not yet. It's protecting us from the fall.
So I wait.
Eventually, it falls down enough where it hits the ground and it splashes. But luckily, the splash, like the actual impact, the liquid itself absorbs the impact of the splash, and it kind of splashes outwards, leaving you covered in this inky material. The problem is the entire time you couldn't notice it beforehand because you were so burning, literally burning from all that you just experienced. But that inky material comprised of this actual plane was sapping away at your health, was sapping away at your strength, as is the air here in the plane. Everything about this plane is just trying to eat you. It's just to consume what you are. It's trying to kill you. It is the plane of negative energy, and you survive off of positive energy. All living things do. So anyways, the plane itself is kind of like nibbling away at your life as you kind of like stand there and realize it's cold and it hurts to be here. Not to mention you just came from a place where just burned all the time. You can see the Steph is not doing very well.
Okay. So I can feel this pulling away at my, more or less at my life force.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told, I kind of expressed this before, and I was told to have faith. So I've made the journey through multiple planes. At this point, as tired as he is, he's just going to take a knee he'll pray to the Arbiter, and he will say, I have come. I bring news from Verga. I am sent here. This place is killing me. I was told to have faith, and faith has brought me here. Help me survive in your domain.
No response happens. Anything else that he chooses to do? I don't know if he tries to reach out to Ilen or anything like that.
Ilen would be on his mind. More so thinking, has he made it? So probably thinking that to himself after a while and nothing's happening. They'd probably even hear under his breath.
Hey Ash, miss you.
Ilen made it here. Now I have to find him. Well, I guess he'll be hopefully with the Arbiter. But where to start? And there's not really much else he can do. He can't do anything at the moment because he needs to wait like technically a week before he can use any of his god's powers.
Does this plane actively attack, or is it more like a diffusion thing that you've got positive energy and it just spreads? Okay.
Yep. And the more the denser areas you get to, the more exactly. Yep. You are correct, Neil. You kind of like sit there and you feel yourself like almost really helpless. Do you have any means of reaching out to Ilen?
You keep saying that like we have something, but
no,
we
you're fine.
do not.
Neil was the only one with the sending ring.
Yeah, it was Neil. I have nothing to.
Yeah, don't worry, it doesn't work anyway.
I think it works across planes.
It does actually. Yeah,
it does.
Oh,
with limitations. Yeah.
Yeah, I have nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, I have nothing.
That's okay. As you guys are as you're there, kind of like praying and whatnot, and the Ceph is actually just kind of like lying there, just like, we made it, but I think we only made it long enough for us to say that, and then we must waste away.
Not yet. So health-wise, he's obviously really not doing well. I will give him a potion to heal himself with.
Before he drinks it, he says, delaying the inevitable. I suppose no different from typical life.
Kind of looks at him and just kind of... He's still in thought, so he presses the potion of cure moderate again to him. So he can heal himself a little bit.
He drinks it. I'm sorry, it sounded like you were going to say something else.
No. He's just he's quiet because he's got where he needs to be, but the soul plane like took a lot out of him.
Yeah. Yep.
They probably need to rest again. It's been a while.
And so
I didn't even need to give him that. I'm sorry. I have a wand of cure wounds.
Sure. So you just tap him on the head a few times, like a fairy godmother?
Yeah.
Okay. You have to just say bibbity bobbity boop each time, though.
Grishka says that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, could you do it for us for a few times?
Bippity bobbity
What was
boop.
it? Bippity bobbity boop.
I don't know. So anyways,
That's
you...
two for the price of one,
It's
then.
actually what Laszlo says every time he casts his wand. It's canon.
So, sorry, just... I'm thinking of him in the battle with, like, the not dwarven stone mage being bibbity bobbity boop! Sorry. So anyways, you look to the Phaedril and say, we need rest again. And Phaedril nods and says, you look like it. I'm fine here. The other one made me uncomfortable, but I was fine, and I'm more fine here. So, you rest. I'll live.
Nods, and he's gonna rest. He'll say, "Be on lookout, please."
He goes, "No, I was just going to sit there and watch you dream."
Wouldn't put it past you.
And he actually mumbles to his breath. He's like, "It's more like I was going to sit there and watch you fantasize about killing you one day, but that's fine." And kind of like, goes off to find a spot where he can perch up and keep an eye on things as you sleep again. Do you feel that? There is an evil creature about. I know that presence. It's Raerin's companion, the imp.
Well, as much as I detest that thing, it's probably a best bet for finding out information.
We can see if it has use, and then it should probably be sent home.
I'm all for that.
He looks at you and says, "It was, of course, by choice of your companions that it is here."
I know. And we have discussed that and talked about the implications. I understand that in taking up the mantle that I did, I accept as much responsibility. Doesn't mean I want to be doesn't mean I don't want to be rid of the damn thing.
Just because you accept responsibility does not mean you have to accept the outcome. You make a choice to act or not to act, Ilen. Remember that, always.
I will. Thank you.
And he'll actually kind of like take a moment and look about like, it's this direction here. Are you capable of walking?
Oh, yes. I'm, for once, well rested and ready to go.
He nods and says, "Perhaps you can move a bit faster than a simple walk."
I can, actually. And you know what? I'm going to do a little...
Dance, make a little love, get Neil tonight. Woo! Get Neil tonight. Do
and summon a horse.
Person's someone,
a direwolf,
chat
actually.
said they have
Direwolf
a
was the
medical
fastest.
sensation where certain noises trigger feeling responses, like it's sensation, touch sensation in them, and Scott's just squeaking out. He's literally touching someone with.
Don't do the squeaking; it's bad.
Every time.
So yeah, I'll jump on a direwolf that has the sprint thing.
And I think you can make it celestial too, can't you?
Yes, it is celestial by
There you
default,
go.
I believe.
There you
If
go.
I
Good.
summoned it.
Well, yeah, that's right. That is. So you hop on the celestial direwolf, and it takes it grows its wings back out, and it takes the sky, and it holds its sword out and above your head and flies along with you. So it almost is like a Superman fly, but with like a sword in its hand.
Cool.
To make sure
You've got me riding on a fucking celestial direwolf with an angel holding a sword over my head.
It's pretty badass as things go.
Yeah.
This is
In
why-
a plane of nothing but darkness.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. You guys ride while Grishka is able to get a few hours of rest. And eventually, Grishka, oh shit, I'm out of here. You hear Phaedral saying as you're kind of woken up to the noise.
Pedro, what is it? What are you talking about?
He's like, look, here. And you look off to the side and you're able to see there's a light coming, a burning light coming off in the distance. For somebody as keen as you probably wouldn't be able to make out what it is because of the distance. But you know that warm glow. You fought alongside it for as long as you could. You slew an undead loper alongside it. It's actually very familiar to you.
You don't know this
He
guy's name.
tosses a look at Phaedra and just kind of like laughs to himself a little bit. And he says, I'll see you at home then.
He's like, I cannot leave the plains. He says, as he starts panicking, you go in the opposite direction.
Oh, he's just fucking like, I gotta run.
All right.
Tell it.
I'm
Tell it how
going
you need
to-
me. Tell it how you need me. Explain
I'm gonna
how.
wait till it
Explain
comes
how
over.
I've served loyally. I follow the law, the code. I follow it loyally.
I
I will
love
speak the
this.
truth.
He looks at you with a sharp look when you say that.
This is where you get revenge for all the times he was a dick.
Well, he also like as much as it was fucked, he literally just saved
Yeah.
the line. Like
Yeah, it's true. It's
So
as much as he wouldn't have wanted to, for some reason he did. So I mean, I'm gonna speak the truth. I'll say he saved me and brought me here.
And so, it turns into the mange dog and starts trying to like run back a good bit, and the angel flies up with the celestial direwolf holding your friend on its back, and for the first time, and you guys honestly don't know how long it's been since you've seen each other.
long fucking time.
Grishka left the plane of the material plane a long time ago, and then time warped and got twisted. So you two of you genuinely have no clue how much time has passed. You have
Legitimately,
no idea.
Ilen would like there'd be this sort of like run up, stop, realization, one, and he'd immediately jump off, run up, and hug him probably.
And you look over and you see a giant octopus to his side. You're like,
No, I'm seeing weird things here. It wouldn't be. It'd be. Who's this?
my girlfriend.
Breaking away
wait,
from
can
you.
Is one visibly hurt?
I think we both are. I don't know,
he
like
is.
health points wise. You haven't told me to take any off, so I don't know what I'm on. But
He is hurt. The Seth has a ridiculous amount of scarring on it from all the scrapes and the burns from all the salt on the aquatic creature.
Yeah. So I would look at, and so even to me, not knowing what it normally looks like, it'd be obvious that it's hurt. Okay. Then I just pop one of these.
It is less
after
effective.
you've finished,
It is less effective than you would like it to be.
Okay.
They were in the salt plane for so long that it lingers with them. Enough salt lingers in their body and on them to the point where like the negative energy of that place is affecting them. So it's not as effective as you would hope it to be.
Yeah. Okay. I might also just pop one of these on each of them as well, just to. Oh wow, that first one there.
Mm-hmm. Both of them.
Yeah, they both rolled real high. I'm okay with that. So
Yeah.
just pop one of those. It's really good to see you.
and you, Ilen, you got my message.
I did. Run into a bit of trouble, but he pulled me out of it.
It was
I see.
fortunate that you owe the gods, that the gods seem to owe you a favor.
Very, very much so.
He looks directly at the angel and he'll say, "Are you able to take us to see the Arbiter?"
He nods and says, I am here to be a guide, to bring you there, to avoid the war. I don't know if you can see it from where you are, but there is a battle happening on the horizon. The two of you can roll a perception check.
Yep. Ooh, I have an idea. Can I roll something to check if I can sort of get the gist of where we are in terms of where I entered? Because I saw a map.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Okay, so what do I roll?
Intelligence to remember.
Okay. Nope. Nope. The chaos. I forgot everything.
Unfortunately,
okay.
the two of you can't make out the subtle details of what's happening over the horizon, so you can't see the battle happening. I don't know how you respond.
I would just hold my gaze and say, "Your war's about to become a lot bigger."
Yeah, I saw when I was on the train. I'll turn tram. I'll turn to one. A vehicle, a vehicle from the Earth plane. Uh, there is a lot of fighting happening, isn't there?
As is expected.
I think.
Well, it's been a long time for me traveling through many different planes. I have a job to do. It's good to see you, Ilen. We'll talk on the way.
Sounds good to me. Yeah,
We'll
I
look at the angel.
had a bit of a journey myself. Not quite as long, I imagine, as yours, but I'm sure interesting.
We need not waste time with walking, as I can bring us there instantly. But first, 2 questions need to be answered. The first one, he gestures towards the Ceph and says, "Who is this? Why are they here?"
He is a companion. He saved my life, and he's becoming a friend. He asked to accompany me back to the material plane. However, I told him I had business here, and he helped guide me through the water plane, and we both made it through the salt. He's a good person. I won't leave him.
He nods and says, "You believe him to be good. You believe it to be good. You may be mistaken. That aside, where you are going and what you are to hear is not meant for its ears. It must stay here, and you can do what you wish afterwards."
Is there any way we can protect them while we're gone?
It looks to you and says, "If you have anything that you wish to do before we part, you are welcome to do so."
Can I cast this on someone else, or is it just me? No, it's touch. Okay. Well, one thing I'll do is I'll give them magic vestments, and then just in case it helps, I will do one of these and one of these on them, just to try and give them as much chance to.
Okay.
Just to
Just a
really
heal
charge him up with lots of positive energy, you know. Get that lamp really glowing.
Look,
you know?
he's real hurt. I want to make him make.
Put the sheet up behind it, make sure all the moths can see.
I don't know if you want to supercharge it, because if you think about it, it's kind of like how hot water freezes faster than cold water. You know what I mean? You charge it too much.
Then
and
I
all of a
won't do.
sudden-
Then I won't do the
I'm
critical
kidding.
wounds.
I'm kidding. You're fine.
Oh, okay.
I'm fine. Because Tesh, you are the hot water.
Anyway.
You
Anyways,
saying you'd like to pour him over your beans, your roasted
Because
beans?
magic vestments will last 9 hours, I believe.
so
Yeah, that'll last 9 hours.
okay. So you cast your spell on him to give him a degree of protection, so on and so forth, and then he says, "As for my second question, the imp. I sense it's here. I wish to vanquish this creature. Where is it?"
He looks around and he says, "It's here. I don't know where. However, don't vanquish it yet. It
Why?
brought me here. It brought me here to the Arbiter. I don't know why is it attached to myself." And then he looks at it. He goes, "Raerin's here, right?"
He looks at you and shakes his head.
But I've been told, and he looks to Ilen and he says, "Raerin has perished. His soul should be here. He should be here."
I do not have the most recent information, but it is possible that something else would have befallen him, perhaps even being snagged by another.
I will talk to you more in a minute. Phaedril, stay here with Leroy. Please, can you take us?
Hold a moment. This is a creature of darkness. One deed of aid does not erase a life, eons of darkness. It is older than all the hordes of the barren lands. This is a creature of darkness. It is in my home. It must be vanquished.
So knowing
Before you vanquish it, the Arbiter was instrumental in bringing it here. Speak with him, or I will. And if he deems it that is what he wants, then this is his home. That is what you will do.
Diplomacy check.
if I remember right, if he's slayed here, he goes back to where he was, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not the worst thing for him to get.
He's not fighting a mortal, though. This is an Archon. Or an angel. One of the two. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
35.
So maybe not sent back to where he was.
He's 35. He looks
Oh,
at you.
damn.
He looks at you severely. And then you can see him take a breath and say, I am aware of the Arbiter's part during his mortality. I respect your wishes on this matter. And he looks off in the direction that you saw the hounds kind of like scamper off to and says, count your moments lucky, imp, for they are few. And then he will place a hand onto either of your shoulders and say, are you ready?
Very.
Yes.
Place a hand on either of your shoulders. All of a sudden, you can feel yourself step away from where you are and appear elsewhere. There is no jarring. There's no this. There's no that. There is something familiar to one of you. You swear you hear a strange ringing noise, like a specific resonance, almost like a.
No, don't.
I'm
glad it cut out almost instantly, but don't do it.
Scott's like medical conditions.
So anyways, you a strange resonance as the thing immediately transports you to where it is it needs to go. So you when it gets there, sorry, when you guys appear there, you appear at a place that actually looks familiar to Krishka. You'd seen it before. An area with a dome that seems to be getting smashed against, with the Arbiter literally standing there and watching as this is happening. You stand in this location that you had seen before in that landscape long ago. Immediately as you arrive, you can feel that this place is calmer than it was out in the rest of the negative energy plane. It's no longer biting away at your life. It's no longer trying to consume you. It seems to just be the eye of the storm, if you will, even if there is effects happening around you. As you appear, immediately as you appear, the Deva takes a knee in front of the Arbiter, immediately falls down to a knee. What do you guys do?
Oh, this is the decision. Do we kneel as well?
Because it's important to note that beforehand, you may have come across the Arbiter before when he was still Nankaru, which is a mortal, but an immortal mortal. And since his rising, I think both of you at different points in time have come across Nankaru since, which is an avatar of the Arbiter, but on the material plane. This is different. This is more. This is something much more than what you experienced beforehand. You can feel, unlike before where I described awe-inspiring divine energy, no, you can feel that this is effectively the god, the world before you. Immediately, the Deva takes a knee.
You know what?
Rishka will fall to both knees.
I
out
was
of
gonna say,
not only like exhaustion, but he's been reaffirmed in the Arbiter. He's been told to aid. He's an ally. We will show respect.
Ilen will also go to take a knee as well.
Looks to the two of you and smiles and says, such formalities. It's amusing.
Ilen will actually give a little giggle when he says that, because it's like he was debating whether to kneel or not to kneel, and then that happens. Like, okay, so he'll stand up.
One doesn't stand up. He just remains.
He looks to the Deva and he says, if you could please, more reports from the front. I would appreciate it. And the Deva stands and gives you a little bit of a head nod, and then fades from view. Like literally just fades. It makes that noise again,
No, don't do it. If just as like a whim that Ilen has, he'll just say, if you have the ability to see memories, I did glimpse one of the maps of the Earth plane, their plans, but I cannot recall it myself.
He nods and says, I'm not too concerned about them and their plans. They're taking a large number of mortal souls and wasting them, unfortunately. Don't worry about the war. This isn't your concern, at least not yet. Its outcome...
But it is my concern.
He turns to you and says, a portion of it is. The outcome is. This aspect is not.
He'll get up then and walk tentatively closer, and he'll say, before we start, Ilen, I have spoke with, and he'll sigh, and he says, I've spoke to someone who speaks on behalf of Rogar, and I have news for you. I assume you probably know some of it already. But hearing things before I didn't understand, so I went to seek clarity. I am to support you, even though he can't openly. But I must warn you, he's been called to war as well, and he will join it soon.
Ooh.
Makes sense. He was punished in the past. He had to break his own chains by agreeing to terms, and he's never been happy with it. He will look to aid when the opportunity arises, but to do so beforehand would be to cause failure. There's something happening here that you did not know, that you cannot know, but that you should know. There's an understanding. Mortals, in their life and in their death, cannot know how things happen in the cosmos. It'll affect how they react to it. It'll change your experience in life and in death. You're supposed to be quiet and blissful, walking along like herded sheep. This isn't how it's meant to be. This isn't how it should be. This isn't actually the natural order of things. Allow me to explain, as I am sure there's a degree of confusion. By this time, you may have understood some of this, but let me explain it in its entirety. You are born with a soul. That soul is born from a plane. It is linked to a plane. Whether that plane be here, fire, earth, or so on, is born linked to a plane. You live your life chained to that plane, and in your death you return to it. Your death is either a period of time where your soul slowly breaks down, decaying into nothing, or it becomes something greater and still slowly breaks down, decaying into nothing. For the very few, it becomes something even greater, something more. A god, like myself. And those gods last as long as they serve. as long as they satisfy. Beyond that, there are a few who find faith, find joy, and faith beyond these planes that they were originally bound to. And so, if they are fortunate enough, their god or goddess can work an understanding. Or even those that do not worship. Sometimes will have a different god or goddess work out an understanding where their soul is bound to a different plane instead of the one that they were born to. For instance, Grishka, you were born bound to the plane of Earth, stubborn as you are. But you have worked your whole life trying to earn the gaze, the love of Vroga, so he may barter for your soul to go to his plane instead. And so you have earned that, until of course a deal was made that broke your final destination and offered it to someone else instead. Then a new deal was made, breaking that and rebinding you to your original plane, to the plane of Earth, so that once again Vroga must barter to have you find his home as its final destination. You are not bound for Vroga's plane as of now, but hopefully you will be sometime in the future. And no action that you make under the current working of the cosmos will ever change where you are bound to go. Only the dealings of Vroga himself can change that. There are others that you have met and never have met that either spit upon or ignore the name of Vroga, that are bound to Vroga's plane because of dealings done above and beyond what you were able to understand as mortals. I'm sure you would be envious to find out who it is that has these positions. I do not even know all of them, as it's not my place to. But we can all agree that this is wrong. That this is not right. Why are you bound to a place that you were born from, unless some higher power deems you worthy or convenient enough to pull you to their influence just so you can live the same eternity, decay into nothingness? Now understands, the weight of your soul crashing into the earth plane will buy you more than the typical allotment of time, Grishka. You will last there longer than most others that would find it. But you crashing into Vroga's home, you can find an even greater time. Your soul, as pure by his ways as it is, might even find elevation to serve Vroga for a near eternity afterwards.
I've already been offered it, he says.
Describe this interaction.
Grishka will go in and describe everything that was said to me.
That is different.
Everything that happened.
That is different than... Why did my camera just all of a sudden get so bright? That's weird. I didn't turn my light on. That is different than what I'm speaking of. You were not to
Ilen's
offer...
like, oh, sorry, my bad.
It's like all of a sudden, like the ISO or whatever it was just like, fuck it, through the roof. So anyways, he goes, that is not the same. That is not serving Vroga directly. That is to become a different being, a creature bound. I'm not going to go into the details. The short version is you actually spared yourself an eternity of a servitude that you would not have appreciated. You would appreciate your end in the plane of Earth greater than you would that eternity, even if that one more directly serves Vroga. The reason why this happens is because there is a vacuum. I say a near eternity because nothing is forever. Everything decays. There is a thing that exists, an apathy, a final rest. This was discovered by the mole in their brilliance in their research, they discovered that there is a thing that exists that decays all. A vacuum. This vacuum needs to constantly be fed, needs to constantly be satisfied, lest its general consumption turns its attention to a more specific consumption. I can see on you, by your pain, by your wear, that you've traveled through the plane of salt, Grishka.
Not.
You notice the plane's state. You notice its collapse.
It's falling apart.
It is being consumed. It is becoming nothing.
Oh.
It was a primary place of worship for the mole people. The plane of salt in their early beginnings. They witnessed the consumption of their god because their god did not play by the rules. Chose to not pay... what's the word I'm looking for?
Soul
Tithing.
tax.
Tithing. Did not
Tithe, yeah.
chose not to pay tithings to the apathy. Now I'm suddenly way dark. Chose not to pay tithings to the apathy as much as it was supposed to. Attention was brought to it, and so it was consumed, and so as its plane is being consumed. And thus will begin the new cycle. When the plane is brought down to a verge of collapse, something else will finally be allowed to fall there, gain power, and then slowly, in servitude, pay its tithings, so it may continue to survive for a near eternity. The mole people understood this. This was the shamans of the mole imparting this knowledge to the martyr and myself. You may know some of the mole culture, some of their history. There are those that wish to continue the empire and those that wish to see its collapse. Because in its collapse, a new beginning could be found. By allowing them to collapse into the apathy, we could rise, knowing what it was we were going into. Where is Raerin?
He looks. One looks at the arbiter. He's not here.
I cannot sense his presence across the plains.
Shit.
I was told by that thing that Valorant originally brought into to Adir that he was about to perish, and I had to break the contract so he could take his soul and save him. His soul should be here with you.
Shakes his head. Had the contact been broken, the soul would have belonged to the devil. It's one of the reasons why I pushed for Raerin to make that deal in the first place. It was a failsafe, should you choose to take it. In his death, his soul would go to where it was belonged to. It'd be taken to the hells, and it would be tortured, but it would exist. Instead, it has been consumed by the apathy, by the void. I'm sorry to inform you of this, just as I'm sorry to be informed. Raerin is no more. This may be difficult for you two to understand because both of you have the ability to draw upon immense power of your gods and can speak to those that are dead or have been dead, even for decades or centuries. But that aside, that requires the surviving of a soul. That soul is no more.
You can't get it back.
It doesn't exist.
There's nothing coming from Grishka. He looks away and doesn't say a single thing.
This pain that you feel, as much as you love your companion, I love all those that belong in this plane. I had an understanding, fleeting, for moments in my mortal life. My broken, powerful mortal life. I placed a curse on Adir in my death. The curse was intentional. It bound all souls that were meant for my empty plane from ever traversing to it, because I could not protect them from this. It saved them from being consumed. It was all that I could do at the time. Now I control the plane. I control the flow. All that die within my dominion, or all that are meant to come here, do not go any further. They stay here trapped. And other gods are pissed, because many died in Adir. Many of them. And they want what is owed to them. But what they would do with those souls is pay their tribute, and then more would continue to die. I love those that belong to me. I love every one of them and all of their flaws. They will not fade into nothing. That is not the way things should be done. I believe that this void, I believe it is not true. I believe it is not the way. I believe that this is not the natural order of things. Because I was born, and I can die.
How do we kill it?
He looks at you and says, well, as you interrupt him,
Ilen would do that, and Ilen would have that angry sort of rage look.
He looks to you and says, first we need to know what it is. But I am not much older than you are, Ilen. I have a few centuries on you. Less than a millennia. We need something that has been around since the beginning of time. Something that knows the truth of things. Then he looks at Grishka and says, someone that is willing to join the fight when they know it is time to join.
He gives his attention back, but the first thing that he says was, Raerin was your chosen.
He nods.
We helped you to become what you are.
He nods.
And you couldn't do anything
Shakes his
to
head.
save him from this fate. Why?
Raerin's soul did not belong to me when he made the deals that he chose to make. Same as yours does not belong to Vroga. Raerin was in a location that I cannot reach. Not without any gestures towards the bright lights and explosions and whatnot that are happening overhead in the dome. Not without this.
So you can reach it if this wasn't happening?
I would have to breach their realm, the same as these multitude of other gods are trying to breach mine. If I, a new god, can hold back the power of all of them, what do you think I could do to that one realm alone?
So tell me, before I spoke just now, you were alluding about Vroga, about when he knows the time is right.
Yes.
What do you want him to do? What will he do? If everything goes the way you want it to, then what? He just like throws his hands up and says, I please help me understand. Raerin was the one that understood all this.
He nods.
Help me in his absence.
He nods and says, your attention should not be to Vroga any longer. Vroga cannot aid in any way other than to hold back his fight until it becomes too far, too much, and the ire turns towards him, as it has in the past. Your attention is to other gods. Gods you've never heard of. Gods that are all but destroyed. Because there is something that I cling to. Something that I believe to be the truth in all of this. You know of a number of gods, bounds to the planes that they are of. Myself here, the martyr there, and so on, whatever you've heard or interacted with. But you are probably not particularly familiar with the old gods, the forgotten ones. Because their planes have been stripped eons ago. But I believe that these gods are not truly gone. I believe that this apathy can destroy anything that was mortal, but nothing that is truly divine. Vroga has fought this before and could not be killed. Is that a testament to his might, or just the nature of his being? I believe there are other gods, stripped down to the bare, flickering candles in a storm's wind compared to the incredible mights that they once were, hiding out there in the darkness, waiting for somebody to find their glow. To breathe upon them, to give them fuel, to bring them back. I believe that there are gods still ready to join, to end this reign, this existence that we are all forced to suffer. For I am destined for the same fates that you are, just more resilient against its inevitability. It's time we buck destiny.
I have one question for you, at least right now.
He nods.
Why us?
He
Were we
nods.
born with this fate? Why has everything happened the way it's happened?
As I said, different souls are born from different places. Different souls are also born with different potentials. Some of those potentials are unfortunately snuffed out due to circumstance in their early life or as they live throughout it. Or perhaps they themselves fall into a degree of apathy in their mortal lives and never become much. And then some are tested and rise above it to find greater tests and rise above those, and so on and so forth. Grishka, can you name in your mind someone that you truly believe could have survived what you did not believe you were surviving each step of each of the passing days as they went on? Days that you can't even count because you don't understand that you have been separated from time itself. Can you think of anybody that would have survived that the way you did? There is a degree of potential that you were born with, and a degree of mettle that you earned in your mortal life. You are not chosen. You are, and are appreciated. Chosen is simply a title to give ourselves self-importance as gods.
Arbiter, I now arrive back at the simple fact that Vroga said that I'm to help you in whatever you ask. I'm still confused. What am I to do? What is my destiny now?
You need to find them.
Find gods?
The ones that are on the brink of destruction. But I think I've only not overgone that final step because they're incapable of doing so. To find them. To find at least one of them. To prove to me that I am right in all the theories that I've learned in my mortal life with the mole, and all that I've mulled over in my time in the brink between ascension and death, and all that I've understood since I've gone beyond death. I need you to prove to me that I am correct. I cannot go on this voyage alone. To do so puts my entire realm at risk, and so therefore a very large number of souls at risk. Those that are breaching through these walls are looking not only to collect what is owed to them, but what belongs to me as well, and to use that to pay their tithings. These are countless souls that will suffer for nothing. There needs to be law. There needs to be order. That is how things must go, and we must abide by those. But this order, these laws are wrong. We can agree to that. Vroga agrees to that. And for someone like me to agree with someone like Vroga, you know that the natural order of things is unbalanced. Your responsibility is to travel and to find those, at least one of them.
Krisha put his hand to his head and he says, to travel the plains, or is this where we're from? Where do we even start?
I have that answer for you. I may even have a companion that can help.
I'll do it. Just allow me to be there when whoever is responsible for Raerin's death meets their end, and I'll do it.
He looks at you with a soft look, softer than is typical for the Arbiter, and says, I do not know who or even what this thing is.
I will find out. Then.
Nods.
We do have another resource at our hand.
Looks to you.
The thing... Your angel just told me that one of our... How do I put it? Pests is old. Very old. And I dare say where he comes from is older again.
Shakes his head. No. These creatures...
They will not have any information?
These creatures that you speak of, the angels, the devils, the demons, all of them, they are old by your perspective, but not old enough.
No.
It is a big ask. But if we can prove that even one of these gods exist, I believe we could turn the tide. My sister and I united are powerful, but we're not omnipotent.
Virgo is allied with the god of the water plane, I believe.
Nods.
I don't know to what extent, but like I said, I would say I don't have a choice, but I was shown that I do. I was shown when I spoke to you directly, I do have a choice, and my choice is to serve him. I will undertake whatever task this is, and we will win.
He nods as you say that appreciatively. There is one final thing that I must inform you. As where you're going and what you're doing will sever you from the mortal world in ways that you personally just experienced to a small scale, Grishka. You will be removed from time, as time does not matter where you're going. That does mean that you will be so far removed from it that it'll likely continue to pass on Aurorum. You will be choosing to fade into the void.
Fucking goddamn it.
Sorry, 1 second. I saw it coming.
Oh, I thought that was something you did, not just your camera dying.
Yeah,
I thought it was like full-on boomer joke.
Yeah. It's a good use of the camera dying. I respect that joke more, knowing that it was just you using the camera dying.
An alarm saying
not you. Yeah.
Sorry. I was saying apathy. I meant entropy this entire time. I'm so sorry. I hope chat picked that up beforehand. My apologies. I just read what Ash wrote, and I was
actually,
like, oh, thank you.
I put it in my mind as entropy.
Yeah, entropy is what I meant. I said apathy because I'm a dummy. All right, so continuing on, my apologies. What we were saying beforehand was remind me. Oh, you'll be separating yourself from time, removed from Aurorum, and because of this, you will not be there to see your kingdom to continue to grow.
I figured as much. And before you continue, while I expect nothing for doing this, I do it because I must. This is everything. This is what I was born to do, apparently. But I have, if you'll grant me a favor or two.
He nods.
Something
Nods
simple.
to hear, not to agree, but go ahead.
Yeah. Firstly, we will not possibly ever see Raerin again. But as someone who, and he looks at Ilen and then looks away, as someone who built it brick by brick, I ask that you allow one of your angels, or whether you can do it yourself, to give me a moment that I may return just to speak with the people there and give some reason and direction.
He shakes his head.
I plead with you.
He shakes his head and says, unfortunately, that would cause more confusion for your people. Why have you gone? Why aren't you returning? Where are you going? It would confuse your people that are there. It also may confuse them and confuse you because of how much time has already passed that you've been away from there. But more than that, Krishka, You know more than any mortal by law of the cosmos is allowed to know. You've asked questions that others know some of the answers to before, and nobody has ever answered them for you. That being because they cannot be answered to mortals. You cannot know these things. Only a god, protected by their own realm, can even hope to share this information. I am breaking the laws of the cosmos to break the laws of the cosmos, to
So what you're
rearrange
saying
things to a new order.
is we would never be able to return.
No,
Not
what
un-
he's saying is, without your consent, he's already told you these things, so you can't return.
He when you say that,
Welcome to kidnapping.
when you say that, Ilen, he looks to you and says, "Not for a considerable amount of time."
Then I
There
ask
is
you
a
to do
chance.
something else.
You guys spoke over each other. He just watches.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll let him continue.
Send them a symbol of hope, whatever you feel is fit. Let them know that we haven't forgotten them. And that they're with
Can
us
I
still.
send a message or two? No details about what we're doing, just letting a couple of people know that we'll be gone. And that the reason why we're gone is significant, and they hopefully can trust that without the information.
He shakes his head and says, "I offer this. Your kingdom will continue on as they are able to succeed or fail of their own volition. But I will give them this symbol. I will send one of my Deva to bring to them a regalia, a representative of each of the chosen, so that those who rule in the future can know that these objects belonged to the previous chosen, will be a symbol that even from beyond, delivered by an otherworldly being, that they are being looked after, and that they bear you with them. Can we agree to this?"
Yes.
Sure.
You said time works differently. The staff, Valorant staff, is currently being studied. It is going to be returned to me once the person has finished studying it. But this was payment for my travel to the Earth plane from the plane of fire. So, if there was ever going to be a symbol, I would want it to be that. But as I said, I don't have it right now.
That staff was created by a curse of the martyr. She can call upon it whenever she chooses. I will have that collected.
Ooh, that's going to be angry for the. Well, you know what? I can explain that a god took it. My bad, a god took it.
He looks to Vroga, to Grishka. I feel like Thonk, you know what I mean? Grishka is Vroga. Vroga is Grishka.
You know, in that case, I might actually finally remove the Staff of Curses from a thing, because it ain't coming back now.
Before myself, what token of Raerin?
He nods. This was found, emptied out into the realms, and he holds out shards of metal. This belongs to Raerin, and so I assumed the worst, confirmed by when I spoke to the two of you because of your travels. And he takes the shards and he kind of just goes, you know, and as you can see with his dark, you know, energy, dark magic, the shadowy nature that he has, he reforms the black blade, carrying with it much of what it was, a curse originally created by me.
You see, Grishka, he kind of puts his hand out and then just leaves it there. and then slowly puts it back by his side.
It has been hollowed out. No part of Raerin remains.
I was about to say, you could see Ilen almost doing the same sort of thing, but then thinking better of it. Just
What of me? I have no staff or sword.
He looks at you and says, "You have a symbol of your station with you."
Is he talking about Ors?
That's up to you as a PC to interpret as you see fit.
What he actually does is he reaches inside inside a pocket on the robes that he's got over the top of his breastplate, and he'll pull out the holy symbol of Vroga.
Okay.
He said, "This is what's important."
He looks at you and he looks down at that and looks up at you and says, "That is not regalia."
What could be more important than this? As he spins it in between his fingers. Do you have a better idea?
You assume that anybody who holds your mantle will hold your faith. That is a tall ask.
Oh, okay, I get what he means. Yeah, that's fair.
Bishop bites his lip a bit.
There will if I see that, I will say there will always be worshippers of Rogar in Valorant. You've made sure of that.
He'll take out Orsk, and he'll look the Arbor directly in the eyes, and he'll say, "He's coming with me."
As was your promise to one another so long ago. Don't forget, the Barren Lands are a part of my domain. There are many holes between here and there, and I can see what has transpired in your childhood. I know what you and Orsk experienced. That's the first time you heard that name, Ilen. I know what you and Orsk experienced
I don't know
in your
who it is.
youth.
Do I actually have another weapon? I had one, but I think I thought it broke.
constantly. I mean, honestly, if there's anyone who can give you another weapon, it's a god.
Doesn't have
Be
to
like,
be. It doesn't have to be a weapon.
It doesn't
though,
have
does
to be a
it?
weapon, no.
But
Because the chosen of the Quill has got a blade.
Yeah.
yeah, but I out of character can't think of anything. Like I don't know what of mine I could give.
Take
Do
off
you
your
have
shoes.
anything that's been with you since the start? Doesn't have to be
Shoes?
anything big, like
His shoes?
just
Take off his shoes.
something that's been there from the start. Like the reason why
I
chose
didn't
the start.
I didn't have those things like you guys did. You have two really specific things. I don't.
Yeah, I mean,
Like I'm looking at my gear. I don't. So that's why I'm directly asking the Arbiter what the fuck he's talking about.
you have nothing that you've had since the start.
No.
It doesn't have to be anything
Nope.
big.
Nope.
What about something you got recently that's just any sort of?
You know
meaning
what?
to
I
you?
don't. It's not what I want to. But I mean, I have the chain that's meant to be broken. The broken chain.
That could be actually worn like a, you know what I mean? Like how priests always have those weird like tassels on them, like somebody graduating college.
Oh, the mum is rough.
You mean a chain of
about that.
office?
Yeah, like a chain of office.
I mean, yeah, he'll pull that out. I don't ever think I explained how it worked to anyone.
That's okay. A god would just instantly know by seeing it.
No, I'm
what's it
talking
do?
about having it returned to them. he would say, "Have your
Self a merry little Christmas.
messenger explain how it works." And he gets it in his hands and he just breaks it. So if if there was any enchantments on himself, they'd be gone. But apart from that,
that's what
he's
it
just
does,
demonstrating. It's demonstrating what it does. A broken chain.
That actually, yeah, that's
I
good.
think more fitting.
Yeah, I think that works
Not
fine
something I had
because
from the start, but
it doesn't have to be.
I think it's
The
far
symbolism
better.
of a broken chain works well for you, and it's not necessarily only Vrogar. It's the idea of what he stands for, but not necessarily like you have to follow this religion sort of thing.
And don't forget, that's actually a subsect of the core faith. That's funny looking. So, anyways, he will reach out and take the chains and say, "A broken chain, then."
a broken chain.
It'd be so funny if you like broke it and it's like you're suddenly back in that tower, like back in Valorant. Like, hang on a second. It was all a dream and an enchantment.
You have an important task.
Damn slumbering queen.
You have an important task before you, boys. A very important one. Literally, the cosmos are going to rest upon your shoulders. You were born with a potential and have found yourself the power to be a significant foe to anybody who stands opposite you, but also are weak enough to go unnoticed by many of the things that we need to overlook you in your travels. I wish you to a safe voyage as you go searching for one of them. Just one. Prove it, and it will turn the tides.
Voyage gonna give you a void ship?
And with that, why don't we end the session so I can go get ready for work? I gotta go there and listen to somebody complain, like looks like a bitch, for probably like 5 hours straight about somebody that showed up 1 hour late
Why
once.
don't you just ask them to stop?
Oh, I will, of course. But again, this is somebody. Again, I've already described what kind of person this person is many times. This is not the kind of person that easily. Yeah.
Just shoot him. You're in America.
Um.
That's what you do, right?
I don't believe in violence. Violence is the absolute last recourse that one needs to take, and for self-defense only, not aggravation, or because you don't feel like going for a jog after somebody who may or may not have committed a crime. It's funny. I was actually rewatching Home Alone last night with my wife after I got home from work, and I'm watching. I'm like, Joe Pesci. If you don't know who Joe Pesci is, he's like a well-renowned. He always is like a mobster in like a million movies. I was like watching Joe Pesci play the police officer at the beginning of that movie made me think, if only cops were actually that nice. Like, he's actually one of the nicest police officers. Like, Joe Pesci playing the cop as a criminal pretending to be a cop was a nicer cop than most I've ever interacted with. Like, he was just like genuinely like kind and like, oh yeah, Merry Christmas, and oh yeah, where's your family, and super patient and stuff like that, with ulterior motive, granted.
Is that
but
money?
what money?
Oh, it's not money.
You talking about this?
Yeah.
It's a Baldur's Gate.
Dice bag.
It's a Baldur's Gate dice bag.
It's pretty.
Yeah, I accidentally tore the fabric underneath, so I was just removing
Stop
it.
tearing it. Stop.
No,
Stop messing with
it's just the backing
Scott,
to the
stop!
embroidery.
You're
that's
killing
all.
it. Stop.
Anyways, so yeah, let's end this shit. Anything you guys want to say before? Because you're not here next week. I'm not able to play our game next week. I mean, there is a less than 5% chance that I will be able to play next week. So let's just
I
assume we're
will
not.
definitely not. I
Yeah.
will be in a car driving for Melbourne.
There you go. So I'll see you guys one more time before the new year. But
Yeah,
Oh,
you'll have to
actually.
talk to me at some point.
Wait,
about-
hang on.
oh Neil, I'll talk to you as soon as we.
Am
hang
I
up,
going to be
can talk
missing
to you.
2 weeks? Wait, no, I should be back by.
Well, Tesh, we'll talk about that afterwards.
Yeah,
We'll talk
well,
about that
yeah.
afterwards. Anything you guys want to say, Tesh, where you are, how we can find you, so I can get ready for work?
KM
Hi,
has already
I'm
ended.
Tesh
This is
of the Test Tube. You can find me under that name on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. I will hopefully be back to streaming very soon once I move into my new house.
Yay!
hype.
New house, yay.
Yes.
Neil, you're gonna say something?
KM has ended, guys. This is Planeswalker. Well, Plane Walker, actually.
Yeah, now that I have all three of you together again, I have to properly make the overlay. You know what I did to ghetto make this work? I literally grabbed the other overlay that I've been using and just like cropped it down.
I like it. Yeah, that's
Plug that
clever.
directly over the top.
Yeah.
That's clever. Actually, well done.
Nice.
Like,
Nice.
look at this.
But fuck, Raerin's gone.
Rip.
Oh, it's so funny.
Well,
Oh, it's sad he didn't get to say bye. His message didn't even go through.
I
Nope.
tell you, yeah. Now I gotta go
Yeah,
back and
that
watch what
sucks.
happened because I was hoping to learn from it from you, but
Well, unfortunately.
goddamn.
All right, well, boys, unfortunately, Raerin is forever gone. I will see you guys. I'll see you guys later. Friday, I'm playing with
Ilen is
Messi at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because I won't get home before 10:30 the earliest. So maybe even
It'll be a
maybe
messy
even 10
night.
of 11. Yeah, so I'll be playing with Messi at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as we finish up the little side bit with Yondis, and then we can. Oh wow, that's a very heavy die. Wow, that's really cool. Holy crap! It has the D&D symbol on it too. Anyways, oh, it's like made out of metal. I think it is made out of metal. All right. Anyways, I will catch you guys later. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And let's end this recording. There's never anybody to raid this time of day, of course. So we just want to end.